Okay, let's dig into this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking closely at source materials around the Ghazala Din property investment situation. It's quite a tangle, based on victim accounts and investigations.
Yeah, our goal here is really to trace the patterns, not just the financial fraud itself, but also the psychological angles.
Hmm.
Specifically, how she apparently tried to flip the script, accusing a victim. That's bold.
It really is a high-risk move trying to muddy the waters like that. But how did people get pulled in initially? It seems trust was huge. One person got involved early 2020 purely because of recommendations.
Exactly. People he knew vouched for her. And that gave him the confidence, to bring others into the fold. Trust was basically the currency here.
So what was the actual hook? What were they investing in?
The sources mentioned properties. Like
Yeah.
there's a house in Needles. The deal mentioned was something like put in 15,000, get 3,000 back every month. Pretty attractive on the face of it.
3,000 a month? Okay.
Yeah.
And I gather the payments actually happened for a while.
Yeah, that's the key part. It worked. Temporarily. One victim said the money stopped coming exactly 6 months later. Like clockwork.
6 months? That seems quite specific. Does that suggest it wasn't just things falling apart, but maybe a planned cycle?
It certainly points towards a tested method, doesn't it? Because when the money stopped, the excuses were apparently identical for everyone. It wasn't just random fob-offs.
What kind of excuses are we talking about?
Oh, the classics. It started with next week, then maybe, I can't give it to you now, but in a few days. Then it escalated to personal things like, I'm sick. And the final one often seemed to be, my account's blocked.
Right, so a clear pattern of delay and evasion. And this structure, one victim described it as basically getting money off you, pushing on to me.
Exactly. Classic Ponzi characteristics. Using new money to pay earlier investors, just keeping the plates spinning for as long as possible.
And how many people got caught up in this? What was the scale?
The investigation suggests, well, somewhere between 30 and 40 people. And what's really striking is that includes family members, even apparently next-door neighbors.
Wow, that close proximity. It makes the betrayal feel even worse, doesn't it? Harder to believe it's happening.
Absolutely. And that deep trust was exploited further. Get this. Ghazala Din apparently asked one victim to actually create spreadsheets to detail all the investments coming in.
She asked a victim to do the books.
Seems so. Receiving these larger sums, maybe 20 grand, that were actually made up of smaller bits like 2,000 each, from different people that he had recruited.
So by having him manage the spreadsheet?
Uh-huh. It creates this layer of separation for her, doesn't it?
Sure.
Almost positions him as the middleman managing the funds. It kind of feeds back into that deflection tactic we mentioned earlier.
Clever, in a really insidious way. And where did the money actually go?
Well, critically, some funds were moved into her son's account. We know that. And many of the accounts used for these transfers, they've now been seized or flagged. Banks took action based on fraud reports from the victims.
So the victims weren't just waiting around. They took action. They looked into the assets too, right? Like the house she was living in.
Yes, and that's another major red flag.
Mhm.
The house she claimed was hers, the one she was living in, turns out it was owned by someone completely different, described in the sources as a Filipina middle-aged person.
So the very basis of her apparent wealth, the house, was built on a lie.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which leads us towards the corporate side of things. There's a company link here, ZR Associates Limited.
ZR, okay. Whose initials are those?
Her brothers, Zamir Reza, also known as Abner Reza. He set it up. Now, he claims he hasn't used it for maybe 10 years.
Okay.
And he also claims she scammed him previously for thousands. Suggests a history there.
Right, a potential pattern. But he says the company's dormant for 10 years.
That's his claim. But public records, like Companies House in the UK, tell a different story. Accounts for ZR Associates Limited were filed very recently, December 27th, actually.
December 27th, while all this is unfolding. So if the brother isn't using it,
Then someone with access is. And the timing, well, it's highly suspicious, isn't it, given everything else going on?
so pulling this together for the listener, what's the main takeaway here?
I think it's about how easily genuine connections, friends, family, neighbors, can be weaponized.
Yeah.
They lend credibility to what seems to be an organized scam using, very generic excuses, but also these slightly more sophisticated, though questionable, corporate links.
And the victims themselves are grappling with this question, right? Was it a deliberate scam from day one, or did it sort of spiral into one, maybe out of desperation later on?
Exactly. And here's something really provocative to think about. The latest is the alleged scammer is claiming to be in the hospital, possibly after an overdose attempt. But at the same time, This company she's linked to, ZR Associates, is filing official accounts.
So you have to ask yourself, is the hospital claim just another excuse? Maybe the most extreme one yet in that sequence we talked about. A final desperate deflection designed to buy time while those financial records were being filed. It really forces you to scrutinize every claim against verifiable facts, like public records.